Hello fellow human! Welcome back to another Dank Doggo / entitled parents videos. What do you think about living in a dorm? To me, it was the best experience of my university life. The first story is posted by u/sloppyb69. M thinks she owns her daughter's dorm room and can control who comes in. I used to work as a desk assistant in a dorm room building for my university. Basically, my job was to help if a student locked their key inside or wanted to put a work order in. One day, I just sat down for the 8 p.m. to 12 a.m. shift, and I see a very pissed off middle-aged Karen approaching me. I knew it was family weekend, and that's why she was probably in there. But I didn't know what would come next. Also, if anyone ever stayed in a dorm room, you know they're not large, usually. M. Entitled mom, me. D. Poor daughter. H. Husband. M. Can you help me? Can you help? Me. Maybe. What seems to be the issue? M. Me and my husband are trying to sleep, and our daughter's roommate is up, and her roommate's boyfriend stopped by and left his shoes on the floor. Me thinking, why the hell didn't you get a hotel? Well, ma'am, half of the room belongs to her roommate. I can't stop them from being awake at 8 p.m. I can't even leave this desk. M. Well, you need to get someone here right now that can fix this. Her roommate knew we were staying, so we need that room. Me. Her roommate has the right to be there and is under no obligation to leave. If anything, she's being nice by not complaining that you're taking up her space. D enters crying. D. Mom, stop and come outside right now. I told you wouldn't like this and you didn't listen. And now you're ruining this visit. They both go outside. Husband enters. Husband. Signs. Please tell me I'm not the only one whose wife did this. Of course I am. And then mutters about they should have gotten a hotel as he goes outside. In short, a mom thought she could kick out her roommate out of the dorm room, so she and her husband could use it as their personal hotel. I feel sorry for everyone but the mom. Actually being that room must have been hell. And I still wonder to this day where she wanted that guy to put his shoes other than the floor. Well, I suppose you can put your shoes on the coat rack. We have here the second story written by u/EvaEE00. Can you please not apply to Cornell? My son wants to apply there too. So this is a story that happened to my friend this year, and I'm honestly so shocked by this. So basically, my friend is a regular good student at school, has their amazing after-school activities, and is student government president. She also has a perfect SAT score. It has been my friend's dream to go to Cornell. Both of her parents went there, and she has been in love with it for years. Now, enters entitled mom and entitled son. My friend's mother gets a call on her mobile from the entitled mom. Basically, it goes like this. Entitled mom. Hi, are you friend's mom? Friend's mom. Yes, what do you need? Entitled mom. Friend is applying to Cornell early decision, right? Friend's mom. Yes, she is. Why? Entitled mom. Can she please withdraw her application? My son is applying there and we want there to be less competition for him. Friend's mom, if you agree to pay my daughter's full tuition wherever she goes, then sure. Entitled mom, excuse me? My friend's mom just hung up on her. My friend is still applying to Cornell. Hopefully she gets in rather than this entitled mom's spawn. Well, Em must not have had much confidence in her son's abilities that she thinks one other applicant will prevent her son getting in. Next up, we have the third story shared by u/Tartar Buildup. Waitress gets stone cold revenge on my behalf. So, I have Asperger's syndrome, an autistic spectrum condition, and I also suffer from anxiety, which often manifests as a stutter. I'm usually very talkative and upbeat person, but it often takes me a while to actually get my words out. When I'm trying to order at a restaurant, usually the staff are very patient and sympathetic, I get self-conscious pretty easily. So entitled daddy comes along when I'm ordering food at a coffee shop. He's standing behind me with his little kid as I'm trying to order. Stutters kicks in and the lady at the counter is pleasantly helping me along. AD. Come on, just spit it out for duck's sake! We've been waiting for ages! I try not to look at AD and continued with my own business. I briefly glanced down at his kid, who is staring to look extremely uncomfortable. AD. My kid is autistic, you know. We can't wait this long. Me, yeah, so am I. So maybe you should maybe little more understanding. Edie, just hurry the duck up, mate. Puts on fake stutter. Stop being an attention seeker. I was kinda shocked. He was just casually swearing in front of his little kid. What a great example to set, right? So I continued trying to finish giving my order, so I can finally step aside and let this butthole have his turn once I've paid for mine. I'm feeling pretty self-conscious again now, and I'm starting to feel myself about to cry. I have very strong emotional reaction to the smallest confrontations, and I think the lady serving me probably saw the look in my eyes. Now, I have never met any of the employees here, but the woman on that cash registers is and always be my hero. After he tried ordering, she began asking him loads of unnecessarily specific questions about what sauces, extras he wanted. But she was putting on a really exaggerated stutter. Register lady, do you want anything else? He was standing there trying to get her to spit it out as well. But she was taking like a full minute to say each sentence. You could see the cogs turning in Edie's head. Edie's kid was kind of laughing by now. I saw the register lady shoot him a little smile. Edie, right, you can stop taking the piss and write the duck now. Register lady, I'm sorry, sir. I have a speech impediment. I got my food and headed for a table. But I had a perfect view of Edie trying to place his order and pay very slowly. It took no less than 15 minutes to finally get his order in. It was a very slow day. The kid looked happy when he was given a huge lump of marshmallows for having to wait. I like to pretend that Edie got spit in his coffee. I tipped that waitress like 20 pounds after that. I didn't even have to get the revenge. A kind-hearted waitress punished that kid for me. Ah, a woman after my own heart. What a kind soul. Moving on to the fourth story shared by /Lama Bushaha. M comes into homeless shelter and gets angry at us for feeding freeloaders. I work at a Salvation Army as a food services assistant. That basically means I work the food counter and ready the meals for those who need them. One day, this lady walks in. There's no way she's homeless, as she's wearing Louis Vuitton sunglasses and name brand shoes. Me, hello! If you want to volunteer, do it on the website if you... You need to close this socialist hub down! This was maybe the funniest thing anybody had ever said to me. And I tried my hardest not to chuckle. Me, giggle. Excuse me? Why can these people get food? If they get it, I deserve it too. Me, ma'am, this is for people who can't afford food. Well, I deserve food. My son deserves food more than these freeloaders, right, son? She says, turning around, her son is not there. Hold on. She walks out and about 15 seconds later, her son walks in with her. This kid, probably like 8 or 7 years old, is playing on an iPhone X. It's definitely his. Me, ma'am, you do not need food. Your son is playing on an iPhone X. Well, I help the society. Why do these lazy freeloaders get free stuff? A voice behind me says, freeloaders? I turn around and I recognize the guy. He had been in and out getting care packages and meals for weeks. A very nice guy. Tramp, I've done more for society than you. I work for Habitat for Humanity, building horses for people who needed them. I volunteered after natural disasters, but when my house burned, I lost everything and nobody helped me. And now I'm here. Both me and Anam were awestruck. She just backed out to the door. Me, was that all true? Hero, no man, I'm a writer. I haven't laughed that hard in months. Man, some people, imagine hating the Salvation Army. The fifth story is shared by /GingerT7. My headphones affect the education of Karen's poor baby. Background, all this happened about a year ago at a cleaning job I had to pay my way through university. I was registered with a cleaning agency who would send me to various different places to clean. One of which was a very expensive and pretentious private school for kids under 11. Like seriously, this place was like Hogwarts, and I went there about once a fortnight. Also relevant is that I have autism, which means I often struggle with loud and high-pitched noises, which made working in a school full of screaming kids quite hard. I worked out a deal with my boss at school whereby the kids were out in the playground being super loud. I would clean places that were off limits to them and wear headphones. And when they went into lessons and were quiet, I would do public spaces. And this all worked out fine. Anyway, onto the story. Cass, me. M, self-explanatory. B, my boss. So it's the morning and all the kids are arriving at school, loud as hell. So I start my day cleaning the teacher's break room. I'm wearing my headphones, I'm jamming out, all is well. Then M bursts through the door, clearly having just dropped off her precious angel. I take out my headphone to see what she wants. M, oh, I must have the wrong room. I wanted to use the bathroom. Me, no worries, the bathroom is next door on the right. M, were you wearing headphones? Me, yeah. M, that is completely unacceptable. I pay over 10 grand a year for the staff at my baby school to be wearing headphones at work? Me, well, what an awful example to be setting to children that you can listen to music in the workplace. The teachers take my baby's phone away at the start of the day, and you can just wander around with yours? Me, in all fairness, ma'am, the children aren't allowed in this room. And when I'm in spaces where they are allowed, I don't have my phones or headphones on me. M, you're being totally unprofessional. It's an attitude like that which means that you're a cleaner, and my child will achieve real success in his life. Me, I'm actually doing this job to pay for my degree. M, if that were true, you'd be smart enough to know that you don't talk back to the people that pay your wages. Your boss will be hearing about this. She storms out. And about 10 minutes later, she comes back with my boss. I'm feeling stressed out and on the verge of tears. Another side effect of my autism is that confrontation, conflict, being yelled at stresses me out beyond belief. And I'm seriously relieved to see my boss, and I can't wait to see the look on M's face when my boss tells her that my wearing headphones would be okay. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. M, see? Completely unprofessional. B, I'm very sorry, Mrs. M's surname. This is unacceptable. My name, you will please apologize and remove your headphones. Me, but I've been working here for months and I've always worn headphones. You told me it was okay? B, it is not okay and we cannot accept you working in this school if you do not comply with our codes of conduct. Me, but you said... B, honestly, Mrs. M, I did not and would not condone such a thing. I was about to start crying because I felt so crappy about the whole situation. Then I thought, screw this. I hate this job. I hate being talked down by snotty parents, teachers, and the kids alike, and my boss lying about me to appease this M is the final straw. M, well, are you going to apologize? Me, no. Find someone else to deal with your obnoxious staff and entitled brats. I laid down all my stuff and walked out and never went back in. My boss at a cleaning agency refused to send the school any more cleaners, since they had blatantly lied after telling the agency it was fine for autistic staff to wear headphones. They also insisted I got paid for full day's work, which the school did. It was very satisfying walking out of that job. I wouldn't wish working as any kind of manual labor staff in a private school on anymore. So you basically got fired for an entitled mother going somewhere she's not supposed to, and then your boss backed the entitled mother behavior. What a crappy school. On to the 6th story shared by you/Mr. Sneaky. This just happened 30 minutes ago. I've never been so disgusted, enraged, and ashamed to be alive in my life. I'm at my local grocery store getting things for breakfast, for dinner. I walked over to the deli department for some sliced cheese. As I'm grabbing my bag of cheese, I see it. Entitled mom is putting a package of cheese back. Now this wouldn't be a big deal if she had not taken slices out to feed her offspring. Seriously, this woman, who was not wearing gloves, helped herself to some pre-sliced, pre-weighed cheese, sealed the package back up, and left it some unsuspecting person. This would be infuriating, even in a non-COVID-19 period. But given what is happening now, with how contagious this thing is, she's a piece of crap. Yes, I promptly let the deli employees know, and they pulled every package of cheese that wasn't sealed with a sticker over the zipper, because there was no way to pinpoint which one this vile woman touched. I also let the CDH know so she could look for them and review the cameras. I didn't stick around to see what happened, but check your cheese packages, people! That is just absolutely disgusting! Why would anyone think that is okay? On to the final story shared by u/Ducking Pancakes. EK copies my answers then accuses me of cheating, so I get my revenge. Then M reports me to the school. This happened a while ago, and my memory isn't the best, so this is only a basic outline of what was actually said. EK equals to entitled kid, M entitled mother, T teacher, OP/me equals to me. Okay, let's start. For background, I went to school with EK a very long time ago, and somehow I managed to get on his bad side. EK didn't seem to like me, and would use any possible excuse he had to torment me. It makes school a living hell. Before we started sitting together in this particular class, he had already been picking on me for years. I wasn't excited and kinda expect this from him. EK wasn't the sharpest tool in the shed, and he often copied other kids' answers. I didn't want to make his attitude towards me any worse than it already was, so I would just play along and act like I didn't notice him looking over my shoulder. This went on for a while until one day T finally held us both back after class. This is basically how the conversation went. T, I've noticed both of you are getting very similar scores on tests and are writing down the same answers in class. Would either of you like to admit to anything? As I didn't want to call a snitch, I'd kept my mouth shut and hoped that this other kid would learn his lesson. But no, that's not how it works apparently. EK, OP has been stealing my answers for months. It is so annoying. Me, actually it's the other way around. T, why didn't you say this before? EK, she's just trying to blame it on me. It basically ended up with me in detention, and EK was running free because the way it looked was as if he told the truth. And I turned the tables on him. We were still sitting next to each other in class, so he continued to copy my work. Then it came to the next test. I had heard something online about someone who got their revenge by ticking all the answers wrong in pencil, then rubbing it out last minute, and rewriting them in pen. And that is exactly what I did. I ticked every answers far from correct, to an extent where some of the answers were even quite dumb. And then around 5 minutes to the end of the test, I went through again, rubbing out my answers and ticking the correct answers in pen, also intentionally covering most of my answers so that he struggled to copy them. EK's expression was a mixture of anger and defeat, as he knew he couldn't do anything now. It was priceless. After the test, he came up to me looking pale and worried and asked me why I did it. I acted like I had no idea what he was talking about, and he stormed off angrily. We handed in the test, and when they came back, I got a decent score, as usual, and he failed the test miserably. And he even made a comment on how messy it looked when he scribbled out his answers. I bet you think this is the end. No, we're only just getting started. This is M's time to shine. It wasn't that long after the test, maybe a week or so, when me and my parents were called into the school to attend a meeting with T, EK, and M. And this is how it went. T, M has contacted us about OP picking on EK. OP, do you have anything you would like to say? Me, yes, what exactly did I do? M, you made EK fail his test. T, could you explain how OP managed to do that? M goes on to explain exactly what I did, and T suddenly realized who was really cheating off on who. T, so your kid was cheating? M, no, he already knew all the answers anyway, it's just a waste of his time. Yes, M actually told T it was a waste of her dumb kid time, while it's basically admitting that he cheated. T, but he was copying the answers anyway? M didn't really have much to say after that. EK was given a detention and left in a huff, and I got an apology from T for the detention I was put in. Unfortunately, I don't have a really amazing ending, and EK continued to annoy me throughout the rest of my time at the school. But here's my story with EK and M anyway. Well, I now see why EK has to copy your test. He got the same IQ as his mom. That's it for today, fellow humans. Thanks for watching. Be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. See you guys next time.